Hey everybody, have you ever wondered why Shopify doesn't handle professional invoicing out of the box? Well, I've discovered something that's going to change how you think about your store's invoicing process. Now, running a Shopify store is challenging enough without having to worry about creating professional, compliant invoices for every sale. And that's where Sufio comes in. They're the trusted invoicing solution that's already powering over 6,000 Shopify stores worldwide. And what I love about Sufio is how it completely automates the invoicing workflow. So whether you're B2C or B2B, it automatically generates and sends professional invoices, credit notes, and other essential documents. No more manual work or worrying about tax compliance. Their system has been validated by certified accountants to meet regulations around the world. Now, here's what makes Sufio very special. They're officially recommended by Shopify B2B invoicing. That's a huge vote of confidence in my books. Their templates are professionally designed and are super easy to customize with your own branding. You get automatic tax calculations and compliance for both domestic and international sales. And here's the best part, their in-house support team actually helps you set everything all up. We're talking holding hands right from the beginning. So I've arranged something special for my listeners. If you visit sufio.com, that's sufio.com/fastlane, and you can get exclusive 90-day free trial. That's a full 3 months to transform your invoicing process and see the difference for yourself. Now remember, that's sufio.com/fastlane. Sufio is the professional invoicing made simple for Shopify stores. Plain and simple. So go check them out.
You're listening to E-commerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
Welcome back to E-commerce Fastlane. I'm your host, Steve Hutt, and today we're diving into something that's really exciting for me. It's really exciting for this founder. His name is Francesco Gotti. He is the co-founder and CEO of a company called OpenSend, and they're at opensend.com. Now, what he's built, in my opinion, is something pretty remarkable. It's a platform that really helps, now I'm going to say Shopify merchants, but it actually can expand out wider than that. But since my audience typically are Shopify-powered businesses, it really helps merchants to solve one of the biggest headaches. And part of that is connecting with anonymous website visitors who browse and never buy anything. If you think about it, most of us that have online stores, we convert a very small percentage of our traffic, which then leaves a lot of potential revenue on the table. And I think what makes OpenSend really unique is their ability to identify, I think up to, 30-40% of these unknown anonymous visitors, and it can turn, I'm going to call them these window shoppers, kind of into opportunities. And thanks for visiting my website. Oh, and by the way, here's my brand story. Oh, by the way, have you ever thought about X, Y, and Z? And it's so interesting that you have the opportunity now through OpenSend to do that. They've really created a very seamless integration both with Shopify and Klaviyo. And at the end of the day, it really is there to help brands recover a lot, what I would call them these lost sales opportunities. And the best thing about it too is it's completely compliant within the US privacy laws. And so I'm excited to kind of unpack this whole platform. I don't even want to call it a platform because really they are more of a data company. Their DNA is different, so we're going to dig into a lot of that. So, hi, Francesco. Welcome to E-commerce Fastlane.
Steve, thanks so much for having me. It took us a minute, but I'm so glad we have the opportunity to do this.
I know. We definitely shuffled our calendars around to make this happen. But, it's really interesting. I'm a huge fan. Number one, I said at the top of the show that you've built something quite unique to the market. I think there are some other notable competitors, but they go about their business in a completely different way. And so Let's talk a little bit first about what drew you to the e-commerce industry, because I find it's fascinating because there's so many industries to be involved in, but why did you choose commerce which then, propelled you to want to launch OpenSend?
Totally. From a very young age, I grew up in Italy, in Milan, and I've seen some of my family members having retail businesses and these sorts of stuff. And I've always been fascinated about how online you can just really multiply the amount of damages you can make.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so the reality is that when you experience that you're 10, 13 years old and you see that your uncle have a little store and is selling 20 t-shirts a day, and then you realize that Amazon is selling 2 million t-shirts a day and there is nobody there to be at the store.
Yeah.
And these sorts of stuff. So that's when I really got intrigued. And then from there, after university, I started to work on a project on my own with a couple of university friends, and we created this e-commerce marketplace, which we then sold to a company in San Francisco. It was mainly focused on selling emerging technologies, things like smart glasses, smart watches, fitness bands, when they were still kind of like the new thing. And I would say that from there, I've really been able to forge my expertise around the whole e-commerce game, I would say. And then I've also had the honor to be able to work alongside very, very knowledgeable people in my career, where I've been able to absorb more and more skills, which ultimately got me to this data play. Because at the end of the day, thanks to Shopify, thanks to commerce, other platforms, it's nowadays very easy to create a store and manage a store and grow a store and add more features to the stores. But at the end of the day, it's all about the data that you're able to plug into the store, right? In order to be able to reach the right people, remarket to the right people, re-engage with the right people, and so on, in order for you to be able to really grow your store and multiply your revenues.
Yeah, it's amazing. So let's kind of go under the hood a little bit. Like, these anonymous website visitors, in my opinion, have been quite a challenge for Shopify businesses to try to figure out. I mean, we always talk about conversion rate optimization, but then you don't realize the amount of traffic that you do realize it. You're just kind of irritated that you don't know what to do with it, because you only get so much conversion. You only can get even on a high number, 10% of your web traffic converting
Right.
into an opt-in of some sort. Even that is high. There's still like a lot of these unknown anonymous website visitors. So can you explain how your technology works to identify these visitors, and then how can they be turned into some kind of an actionable lead for a business?
So essentially, the way we're able to do what we do is because we have built a pretty comprehensive identity graph in the backend. And for who doesn't know what this is just a master database where we're essentially collecting and enriching and keeping alive all the profiles of those American consumers that have engaged in a way or another with our network of publishers. So what we've done is that we went out there and forged relationships with a lot of those publishers out there. That could be blogs, that could be, for example, dating apps or language learning apps, and all these tools out there that are publishing some content. That could be a course, it could be an article, could be something that interests the general public, and then push the general public to sign up and consume this content. And essentially, by signing up to this content, it happened to all of us, where we've been asked to be able to read a full article, to provide our email as currency exchange in order to be able to consume that content. So when that happens, we're essentially able to get partner consent from our partner publishers, because whoever consumed that piece of content have been able to consume the content for free, because they gave the permission to the publication to then reach out to them with relevant marketing material for them or for their partners, right? So nothing is free, unfortunately, on this planet, right? But this is a freemium thing, right? That allow the consumer to consume the content and the publisher to still make some money by allowing other partners to send relevant marketing material to the consumers for things that you have shown interest around the web, right? So what happens is that by placing our pixel on a brand site, we're able to essentially create a connection with our identity graph where we're able to either fire our cookie-based technology or our fingerprinting technology for browsers that are lacking a cookie, such as Safari, Firefox, and so on. And by doing that, we're now able to essentially identify those consumers that are visiting our customer sites and have engaged with our publishers in the past in order to consume some of their content. And by doing that, we're essentially able to reveal what is the identity of some of these unknown visitors to our customers in order to be able to plug them into a remarketing campaign that could happen either through ads on platforms like Meta or Google, or via email through the integrations with companies like Klaviyo, Eatable, Braze, Sendley, Listra, Yoppo, and so on, or via postcards, where we're able to essentially deliver a postcard to somebody that visited a website of our customer within 3 days from when they visited the site.
You know, it's interesting. And I know that there are some people listening that are saying, okay, how is this legal? How are you able to send? I know that, I understand what you said that, hey, people go, they're on the web, language learning apps, other different types of content areas, and they're getting gated content in exchange for an email address. You have partnerships with them. Part of the deal of getting the content is, hey, this alignment with other partners in this is somewhat similar to kind of what you're looking for as part of the marketing efforts. You get this free-ish content in exchange for your email address, and now you're able to kind of identify the two. Here's an active email account that's actually being used, and now you have access to it. And so this identity is created. The challenge, though, some people say is that, it appears like it's printing money for some people because they're choosing to use it, but then some people are really apprehensive. So what do you say? Like, what are the privacy restrictions for this particular solution, and why does it work so well in America?
That's a great question. And so the reason why it works so well in America is simply because the foundation of the privacy regulation in the US, it's essentially allowed to share a consent for a consumer, because the reality is that the CAN spam law allows anybody to send an email to anybody else for any reason or no reason at all, as long as there is a prominent unsubscribe link in the footer, and as long as the brand have disclosed exactly who they are and they have an address in it, right? So in this way, the consumer needs to be able to essentially opt out in a very easy way, and needs to be aware of who have their data in order to be able to eventually go and register to the California registry, to the Colorado registry, or whichever registry is part of their state, in order to make sure that they do not receive this type of marketing material in case they don't want to, right? So that's pretty much kind of like the foundation of it. And by working with reputable publishers, we are able to get consent from legitimate organizations that are not trying to mislead the consumers, but there is a clear exchange of value. I mean, do you want this for free? Yes. Okay, then I need to be able to send you something in exchange of that free content, right? So that's pretty much the way it works. And the reality, though, is that, this only comes into play when we're talking about emails. The reality is that, there are other channels such as ads or postcards where you don't need any permission of any sort, because I don't know about you, Steve, but I can't say I'm happy about what I receive in my physical mailbox.
Yeah.
In my house, there are companies like Spectrum that send me like 5 postcards a month, and I've never even been on the Spectrum website. I'm very happy to be where I am. So the reality is that, what we're able to do is to help brands to be more relevant across multiple channels in order to essentially be able to retarget the right people that want to be retargeted and that will be happy about receiving something from the brand. And let me dive a little bit deeper into that, because that's essentially the core of it, right? So the reality is that there is compliance and there is annoyance, right? You can be compliant and be annoying, that you're back to square one, right? Obviously, if you're not compliant, you're not even getting started, right? And the thing is that for us, was really the thing that allowed us to take a lot of customers from the competition and most importantly, keep our customers very happy about what we're able to do for them is the fact that we don't only comply, but we also don't annoy the consumers. The way we do that is through a lead scoring algorithm that it's proprietary to us and that we have built in the past 3 years. This algorithm has now analyzed millions of transactions across our customers in order to really understand when is the right time to reach out to somebody that came to your website and didn't scream about wanting to receive some additional material from the brand. So the way it works is that through this algorithm, we're able to essentially analyze what is the level of engagement of any visitor coming to your site in order to understand how engaged they are, right? The way we do that, it's by a variety of parameters such as time on site, pages viewed, depth scroll. Did a person scroll to 40% of the page, 60% of the page? Did the person look at the sizes? Did the person look at the colors? Did they add it to cart? Did they initiate the checkout? And all those things, did they came back multiple times, right? So all those things are indicators of how much Joe wants the electric bicycle, right? And when we're able to get signals from the activity on site from a consumer that is above a certain threshold for the specific brand, then we are able to release their email to our customer, right? And to give you an example, we work with brands like MeUndies, which is selling pretty affordable underwear, right?
Subscription, yeah.
Correct. And to spend 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks is not going to take you forever to decide. So for a brand like that, for example, we will limit the amount of time that the user have to spend on the site in order for us to be able to push their information to our customer. And on the other side, when we work with a brand like Plunge, we're selling $5,000 cold plunges, right? That's a very different motion in a sense that, before spending $5,000 on a cold plunge, you will have to come back multiple times. You will have to be on the site for more than 3 minutes, and you will have to see enough pages and descriptions and so on in order to then be able to take a decision, right?
I see, yeah.
So by analyzing and customizing this filtering across our customers, we are able to provide a tailored solution independently from where's the average order value, where's the average cart size, and all these sorts of things, which are obviously going to really change from brand to brand. And in this way, we can essentially camouflage our offering to really meet the need of any brand, big or small, or with higher or lower ACE, essentially.
Very interesting. So the question I have is really about ESPs, these email service providers. Clearly, you connect. I can see on the website that you connect with a lot of players like the Iterables and Blaze and Klaviyo's and Omnisend. There's a lot of really notable ESPs out there. And so can you talk a little bit about how you connect to them and how your platform really does enhance the overall experience of how they're doing the manual opt-in method, but then enhancing what they're doing with their enhanced or doing what they're doing with their existing opt-in processes, but then enhancing it with all these new email addresses that you're getting through your platform?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So to take a very quick step back before integrating with an ESP, we have a Shopify app for Shopify and Shopify Plus Store in order to be able to inject our pixel into the store. Or for other store types, we still have an OpenSend pixel that works very much like a Facebook or a Google retargeting pixel type of thing. And the second layer, as you well said, is the integration with the ESPs. And we are integrated with a variety of those players, definitely the main ones. And the way we're able to work with them is essentially in a variety of ways, depending on the product our client is tapping into. So to give you just a very brief overview around the offering and the opportunities that we have to offer. So we essentially have three core products. The first product that is called Connect, where we help brands to connect with unknown visitors that are engaging with their brands. And as discussed, we can do that via ads, emails, or postcards. And that's essentially how you really help the top of the funnel, right? And then the second product is called Reconnect. And we essentially help brands to reconnect with existing customers they have in their Klaviyo account, for example. And so what normally happens is that it's very easy to lose the connection with your customer if you're a brand for a variety of reasons. So the main reason, though, is that considering that the more we go on, we're now in 2025, the moment we're going to get to 2030, we're probably going to have 10 devices, right? And the thing is that if a consumer goes on a brand website to look at a pair of shoes and then buy the pair of shoes from their Mac, for example, and then a month after the consumer come back to buy the next pair of shoes, right? And it comes back from his tablet, for example, the ESP or Shopify or anybody that it's in the mix will have no idea and won't tell the brand that this is Joe again, even if he's coming back from a different browser or device than the one that they've used to register. So what we're able to do is that through our identity graph, we're able to communicate in real time to Klaviyo, for example, through our cookie sync that we have with them to essentially be able to pass these additional browsers, device, and those additional informations for these first-party data they have in order to make sure that the brand is not going to miss out on the opportunity to be able to send a checkout abandonment email just because the customer came back from a place that was unknown to the brand. Does that make sense, Steve? Just to confirm.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. Loud and clear.
Awesome. Then the third product that we have in market right now, it's our Revive product. And what we're able to do with that product is that we're able to help brands to extend the lifetime value of their customers. And the way we do it is that we have, by working with hundreds of brands at this point, we're kind of like hearing everybody's issues. And a very common issue here, right? Which is also a silly one, is that, let me give you an example. You have Julia. She's a loyal customer of brand X, right? Now she got married. And so guess what? She just changed her Gmail account. But she still loves her favorite yoga brand, right? But what is the problem is that the yoga brand will now not be able to reach Julia because her email is going to bounce, right? But Julia have provided consent, have subscribed, have bought product for the past 5 years. And so it's pretty silly that the brand is going to miss out on a long-term customer just because they're unaware that the main email account of the person have changed. So by providing us the email account that have bounced, we're able, again, through our network of partners to see where Julia have now registered with her new email in order for us to be able to refresh and provide the latest, most active email address to our customer in order for them to be able to continue to reach Julia, which nevertheless want to be reached, right? Because she never asked to be removed from the list. She never said that she didn't like the brand anymore. to just move on with our lives and that have nothing to do with the brand. And so we don't see a reason for the brand to be impacted from it. And that's why we build this product in order to essentially help our customers to never lose a client until and unless they do want to get lost. And if they want that, they're going to make sure that the brand is going to know it.
Yeah, this is amazing. One thing I noticed too when I was kind of prepping for this recording was there is a lot of amazing success stories on the website. And I think a lot of my listeners, they really like to put themselves in the shoes of kind of other founders and saying, hey, what challenge did they have? They vetted what solutions were available in the market. They chose to try OpenSend. And then what does great look like for them? People like to hear these sort of stories. Hopefully I don't put you on the spot here, but is there any like one particular notable Shopify brand that you can think of that has implemented OpenSend and is just like a raving fan now because of the upside that they got by using your data?
Yeah, 100%. So definitely happy to tell you a little bit more about a few of the brands that we've been able to work with. But I would say that overall, the reason why customers really like our offering, it's because we prioritize quality over quantity. Right? We're not a one-trick pony in a sense that we're trying to really build a one-stop shop that can allow brands to do multiple things, because the reality is that right now, one of the main problems of a Shopify store is that you will have 45 apps, 25 integrations,
At
80
least.
logins, and all these sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's just, one, not sustainable, and two, with the rise of AI and the fact that we're always trying to automate things more and be less needed in the day by day, consolidation is definitely a keyword that it's really going on in the market, because again, it doesn't really make sense for a brand to have a login for the unknown email stuff, a login for the postcards, a login for the retargeting, a login for the server-to-server tracking. So essentially, the thing is that for us, we're just a little bit different from a lot of the companies in the space who have essentially created a product and the solution, while for us, we're just being quote-unquote opportunistic about how we're going about it, because what we've done is that we've built the identity graph, and we're productizing the identity graph into different solutions that the market need, because at the end of the day, I haven't invented emails, I haven't invented postcards, neither my competitors, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
it's all about which type of meat you put in the meat grinder, and then you'll get either a Wagyu patty or a crappy patty. Right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much. And in light of that, I mean, we continue to really focus on adding more data sources, making sure that our validation process is getting more and more strict in order to be able to continue to have the right data and continue to kind of like follow the market and follow the trends, and very much ultimately what our customers need in order to be building the right solution. But I didn't want to go away from your question. So in terms of brands that are on Shopify that come to mind are brands like APL, the shoe brand, or Cut from the Cloth, those high growth or JLux label, or you name it, like RA Gray. Like we really have a lot of great case studies on our side, and one of the reasons why I believe we've been able to have the honor to have all these great founders or operator to leave us a review or give us a testimonial and these sorts of stuff. It's because we're extremely hands-on with our customers. We really want to make sure that anybody that work with us is seeing nothing but success, and the way we're able to do it, it's an incredible customer success team who's working very closely with all our customers on the day-to-day in order to make sure that we are not only, being true to ourselves, but the market, and that's why we also always prioritize things like control groups or holdout groups testing and these sorts of stuff to always ensure that we're providing net new improvement.
Yeah.
And companies like Fresh Clean Thread, for example, I love these guys. These guys that put us on the stand for almost a month and a half to then demonstrate that we're just giving them multiples against the services that they were using already, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what really makes my day when we're able to win these sorts of challenges and tests, because at the end of the day, like we really care about making an impact, and it's better to hear from our customer than from us.
Yeah, it's interesting that that cut from the cloth, Steve Morales, I think I read, he's head of growth. Actually, part of my research was I noticed his little quote that he had, and like he was saying that by turning on OpenSend, he was able to generate like an incremental, like this is extra incremental revenue of $107,000 in 30 days, and he had a much higher open rate, it was over 60%, and then his unique click-through rate was over 15%. So for him, all the KPIs, all the boxes were checked from revenue through to to a significantly higher open rate for his emails, and then a significantly higher click-through rate, all which generated a lot more revenue for him. So that's like a real big win.
Yeah, that's right. And the most beautiful part about this whole thing, Steve, is that that quote, right? It's about when it was like a month in, right? And the reality is that we're seeing a lot of excitement right away from our customers, because they're kind of like seeing an immediate lift,
Yeah,
right?
it's printing money. It's printing money for people.
Yeah, but the reality is that this is very much a compounding mechanism, right?
Right,
So
yeah, good
whatever
point.
you have seen in 30 days, now, Steve, it's probably over 1 million. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's just that the more you're able to, collect data about these people, understanding even more, like who's even more interested, who's coming back, and who's taking more actions, and all these sorts of stuff, will really help the brands to continue to monetize people over time. And most importantly, the number that it's kind of, in my opinion, the most indicative about the quality of the data that we're able to provide is that more than 80% of our customers are experiencing that the emails we're able to provide them remain active after 6 months, right? And this is over 70% of the emails we provide, which is very meaningful, which means that, obviously there's going to be people that are kind of like not ready, or they ultimately decided to go with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're all in market for something, and maybe I don't like this backpack. Well, you do, right? And but at the same time, like by continuing to gather more signals from their visits and their interactions, we're able to continue to shape the outreach. And obviously, if these people are not ready to buy right now, maybe they're going to be ready for some Valentine, for buying a present to their other half, or it's going to be Black Friday, or it's going to be 4th of July, or who knows which is going to be the next promotion they're going to be receptive to. It's just about giving the opportunity to the brand to be there and be present for somebody that have actually shown true interest about what they're selling.
I love that. I love the compounding effect. I think that's really cool. The one last question that I have that's on my mind is obviously brands are irritated about just the data privacy challenges and all these iOS updates and who owns the data and privacy policies, all that. And so I think knowing that the ROAS, the cost per acquisition continues to rise, or people are doing some kind of crazy blended ROAS. And so I know that by people adding pixels for Meta, Google, TikTok to their site, and then they're retargeting that traffic, it's anonymous to you, but the ad platforms know who they are, and they're going to take your money to show your ads. Can you talk a bit about what the difference is now with OpenSend as it relates to unknown site visitors, but then are those not the same unknown site visitors? When you talk about piping over the data to these ad platforms, is that the same that they would get from the retargeting pixels that are already on there? Or are you sending different types of ads based on, I haven't made a purchase yet, I haven't opted in yet, but I know who the customer is, and now I'm going to send them, or I'm going to market to them, even though they haven't really opted in yet or made a purchase from me? I'm trying to understand the distinction between unknown site visitor social, like marketing through ad platforms versus the retargeting pixels.
Totally. That's it's a great question. There are a couple of things here to unpack. So I'm going to unpack one and then the other one. But to answer the
Thank you.
first question, Steve, no, of course, it's essentially our goal is to democratize this data, right?
Okay.
Because as you well said, if Joe is going to website X, which is selling training shoes, right? And is showing an interest in those training shoes, Meta is going to capture this interest because they have a pixel on the training shoe side, and then they're going to show Joe the training shoes of everybody else they work with, as well as the brand that they captured information from, right? Which is why in order to make a sale, we need to show the ad to the whole neighborhood, because that's how advertising platforms make their money, right? They want you to show something to 10,000 people in order to make a sale, right? When they exactly know who is that person is going to buy it, right? While for us, we are going to try to give you only that person, right? And we're going to try to give you their information in order for you to not have to ask Meta who you should go after, but on the other end, import the custom audience and just say, Meta, just go to these guys. I don't care about anybody else, right?
Right.
And the way we're able to do that is twofold. So obviously through the retargeting pixel, Meta and Google and so on, they're able to capture who are these people visiting the site and then serve them an ad. But this is not in all cases, because as you well said, with the new Safari setup and essentially the way that Apple is creating all these disturbance in order to make things harder to identify, the advertising platforms have not cracked this yet. Also because there are some bigger things going on that that they're doing it for a reason. So it's not that if Apple is doing X, then Meta is going against them to find a way to trick the system type of thing. But for us, considering that we're obviously way smaller than them, we're still able to build the solutions that are able to help our customers to overcome those limitations or complications that have been injected in the market. So because of that, we don't only have a cookie-based solution that is leveraging a cookie, which is everybody knows what a cookie is, and it's the fastest, most reliable way to understand who is visiting a site, right? But when there is not a cookie for cases like Safari, Firefox, iOS devices in general, and so on, what we've done is that we've built a fingerprinting solution where we're able to essentially identify the people visiting the site, even if they're coming from those cookie-less browsers or devices, right? The way we're able to do that is that we essentially mapped out over 90 million residential IPs in America that was mapped out who live in these households and which are the devices that are owned by those individuals that are part of the household, and so on and so forth. And again, it's not perfect in any way, shape, or form, in the sense that I would be crazy to tell you that we're able to identify every single person coming from an iPhone. But
correct.
I can tell you that we definitely have a dent in it, and that we will continue to work hard every day in order to be able to continue to improve our identification also for those consumers that are invisible to social platforms, in order to essentially allow our customers to import this data as a custom audience in the various platforms to go and retarget exactly these consumers without having to be at the mercy of Google or Meta, which again, they will want you to show something to 10,000 people in order to sell it to one.
Right. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, because that's something that's been on my mind, and I completely understand about what's happening with either cookies and pixel tracking, all sorts of things. And so this is a really good 1-2 punch. You can still have your retargeting pixels running. That's one of the nice things about your tool, is that it's a kind of a crawl, walk, run kind of situation. Like, what sort of problem are you trying to solve right now? Great. Well, let's just talk about the people coming to the website first that are just popping off and not opting into anything and not buying anything. Great. We can recover 30-40% of those people, and then start a brand story kind of outreach. Well, thanks for visiting campaign, and go down that journey. But man, oh man, you bring up a really good point about what can we do on the ad platforms now, and how it's a very complementary process now of saying, well, there's going to be a bunch of people that you don't know who they are, but you now do. OpenSend, and you're now giving that to the brand, and then they're able to market to them. So I think that's lovely.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Steve. And last but not least, I would say that we are here always on the lookout for new things to build. And the thing that we love the most, it's the feedback of our customers and hearing their needs and their tribulations and so on, in order to really be able to find solutions and build solutions that can really make their life easier, on top of helping them to make more money, which is very much the reason why we all work so hard.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just about ready to wrap up for today, but I know that you have, and it's just been very eye-opening for me. I've been wanting to get you on for the longest time. It's very, very clear to me now about the problem that you're solving, and just like there's a very significant upside by getting involved with OpenSend. But what are next steps? If there's people listening today that are on the fence a bit, what do you say to them that are on the fence? And then how can we get them involved to at least test the platform out? Because you don't know what you don't know. And so I'm going to pass the baton to you and let me know, like, what sort of offer do you want to share with people today?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, Steve, as we discussed, we are very much big believer that, the proof is in the pudding, right? So the reality is that we do have a 14-day trial that we offer to our customers in order to get a little bit of taste of what we're able to do, and also see how, like, what it means to work with our team and all these sorts of things. We should, grow their confidence into working with us. And on top of that, considering you have a raving community of incredible Shopify owners, we would love, and we're thrilled to offer all your guys, on top of a free trial, to again help them get a little bit of a taste, also 50% off on their first month, in order to really give them the opportunity to take advantage of that compounding effect, right? To be able to kind of like see the initial ROI, but then have an additional support in terms of a more convenient price to really be able to make some meaningful dollars before they actually have to pay for the full subscription. And that's the thing that make us the happiest, when we're like, in a month we've already paid for your next 4 months of subscription by ourselves, and that's how we like to roll.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so it'll be opensend.com/e-commerce-fastlane. I'll put it in the show notes.
You got it.
It'll redirect to a really cool landing page you put together today with this offer. Thank you for that. And this is exciting. Like I said, I learned a ton. I'm guaranteed my listeners have learned a ton today too. I just, you don't know what you don't know. At least try it out and take them on for a test drive. Kick the tires for a couple of weeks and just see the upside that you're going to get. It pairs over nice with your current ESP. I'm sure there's a little bit of onboarding process available through your team to make it all work. So it's exciting. Francesco, thank you so much for recording today and sharing.
You're the man. Thank you so much. This was a true pleasure.
Thank you for recording, and have a lovely afternoon. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of E-commerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.